So, hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully this is all working now. We just had to give it a few seconds. We've got the thumbs up. Okay, brilliant. So welcome to our destination showcase. This is all about exploring those top places to send your LGBT plus clients. So we've heard this afternoon about how to attract and serve your LGBT plus customers. Now we're going to find out about some of those brilliant LGBT plus friendly destinations to send them to. So I am thrilled this afternoon to welcome Siobhan Shaw, Regional Manager UK and Europe for Destination New South Wales. Hello, Siobhan.
Hi.
We're joined by Becky Fairley-Clark, Visit Tampa Bay PR Director for the UK, Ireland and Scandinavia. Hi, Becky.
Hello.
And we have Flavio Zappacosta, Head of UK and Ireland for Italian National Tourist Board. Welcome, Flavio.
Hi, good afternoon. Hi.
And just a reminder to everybody, do just pop any questions that you've got during the chat. This is all live, so I'm just going to put them to our fantastic panelists during the discussion. So, just to kick things off, would love to hear from each of you about why the LGBT plus market is so important to you. So Fabio, I'm going to come to you, and then Siobhan and Becky. We've heard a little bit this morning, earlier this afternoon, about the fantastic video that Tampa heard. But it'd be great just to hear a little bit more from you about the LGBT plus market. So Flavio, I'm going to come to you now. Tell us why the LGBT plus market is so crucial to Italy.
It is very, very important indeed. I mean, lately, I would say 5, 6 years ago, we realized that we can't take anyone for granted. I mean, talking about tourism. So we started to target specific markets, and one of those was the LGBT market. So 6 years ago, we started to our campaigns in order to, first of all, to change the perception that was around Italy as an LGBT destination, which we weren't really happy about that. And secondly, and let's face it, I mean, it's a quite lucrative market as well. I mean, in Italy, the last year was nearly just under 3 billion euros were spent by LGBT tourists. So, on one hand, an ethical reason, which is very important, and the other more financial, and it is very important for us. Yeah.
And you know what? Money speaks volumes. So just being able to prove the economic case can really kind of help them change people's minds and accelerate change.
Yeah, I agree.
Siobhan, talk to us about Destination New South Wales. Why is the LGBT market so important to you guys?
Well, I think for us, it's just important that we are open, we're an inclusive destination, and that includes the LGBT plus market. So Australia, I think, often ranks as one of the top LBGT friendly destinations in the world. And of course, Sydney, we like to think, is probably one of the most hospitable cities in Australia for that community as well. We've got a great history and heritage amongst that community, a great history of sort of protest marches and protesting for rights for the LGBT community, which we celebrate every year as part of our Mardi Gras festival in sort of February and March. So it's really important for us really just to be seen as a welcoming and open destination, and that really includes people from us all across different communities and cultures.
Awesome. Love that. And Becky, we've had a fantastic video and a great snapshot from Patrick about Tampa Bay. And I love that it has a lesbian mayor. That's still the case, isn't it?
Absolutely. 73% of the vote. So, yeah, that's it with Tampa. It is just part of us, part of the culture, part of everything.
Awesome. And, because let's talk about what each of these destinations do to cater for the LGBT plus market. It looks like we've lost Flavio. I don't know if that's just me. Hopefully he'll be coming back. But just in terms of the kind of prides that are held, Becky, talk to us about, is Pride always on a set date? Is it a set time of year? Because June is traditionally Pride month in the US, I think. But when is Tampa's Pride? When should agents kind of put in their calendar to really push it?
Absolutely. We have the first Pride event in the US. As Patrick mentioned, we're obviously in Florida, so we have sunshine all the time. Our Pride event is always at the end of March. So traditionally, the last weekend in March, obviously the date might change around there. But as Patrick mentioned, that's kind of one event. But we have a number of others, whether that's Pride on the River, which tends to happen in September. We have the Lesbian and Gay Film Festival in October. We have Pride and Passion, which are art events that happen all throughout the year. So there's just,
Awesome.
the Pride event is one thing, but, because of the fact that Tampa is such a multicultural place, our history is so, a melting pot of different cultures, the LGBT events happen all the time. And, there's always something going on, and there's always welcoming and accessible events or places to visit and stuff like that. So
And
Pride is one event, but that's kind of just one event. There's so much more
Yeah.
to experience as well.
And Becky, where can agents find the dates for all of these events? Is there kind of a travel agent area of your website that they can check out?
Yeah, so we have if you go to visitTampaBay.com, then there is actually an LGBT plus area where you can find all the different information. We have I don't know if that shows up, doesn't really show up, but we have our Visit Tampa Gay guide, which if you go into our lobby room here, you can actually download a PDF version, but anyone can contact me and I can send you however many of them you'd like. But then also in our Travel Agent Training Academy, we have specific LGBTQ plus information, and that's always updated and stuff like that. So all over the place, but absolutely on the website, there's videos, there's content made by some of the ambassadors we work with, all sorts of stuff on there, and the dates and that kind of information as well.
And there's imagery, because we were just talking in our last session about how agents, really want more inclusive imagery. Is there imagery that they can use?
There's imagery, and actually this is something else. It's really which Patrick mentioned, is the fact that we're always learning, and we're always, it is ongoing, it is consistent. We're always wanting to find out more. And actually something that came up in the last LGBT plus seminar was about, and that you've mentioned, is the kind of imagery being typically to gay men. And so we did an audit after that, kind of thinking, are we like that? And obviously we do have a huge range of diversity images, because not only do we work within the LGBTQ plus space, but also accessibility travel, multicultural, all of that. And we do have huge range of imagery, but we always thought we can do more. And so there's a new photo shoot planned. I think it's for January. Yeah, just to, as a result of something that we've learned here. And I know that's something Patrick mentioned earlier, is the fact that we're always looking to improve, listening to others, working together. So we're really keen to hear more.
Awesome. See, this is great. This is why. Put comments in the chat, people.
Exactly.
Siobhan, talk to us about, so you mentioned Mardi Gras in Sydney, which I think is pretty famous, isn't it? It's a pretty big event. Talk to us about some of the other Pride events that perhaps take place around New South Wales, or if there are other kind of elements that agents should put in their calendars specifically for the LGBT plus market.
Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras happens every sort of late February into early March, so definitely get that one in your calendars. It's in its 45th year next year, so it's a long established event. There's sort of a whole spectrum of events, including like the famous pool party, the march down Oxford Street every year. So there's sort of free to and accessible events, as well as paid events that people can get be a part of and can join. And really excitingly, next year in 2023, we're actually hosting World Pride. So Mardi Gras will actually be part of Sydney World Pride. And this is an event that only happens every few years, and cities bid for the privilege really of hosting that event. So we're really excited to be the first city in the Southern Hemisphere to actually host World Pride. So next year there's going to be a bumper year of over 300 events, be from the 17th of February to the 5th of March. So check out sydneyworldpride.com if you want to see the full calendar of events. But there's everything from the opening concert, which has a headline performance from none other than Kylie Minogue, as well as, of course, lots of other kind of local and international talent. They're actually like closing down the shores of Bondi for a big Bondi beach party on the 4th of March, where 12,000 people will kind of descend on the shores of Bondi and have an amazing party kind of throughout the afternoon and into the evening. So really something to, treasure in the Aussie summer. And then it's also going to have a human rights festival as part of the program, and there's also going to be it's going to be a balloted event, so it's free, but you have to register to get a ticket. They're going to have a Pride March over Sydney Harbour Bridge, which will march over the bridge. There'll be about 50,000 people taking part, and it'll wind all its way sort of through the city and end in the Domain, which is where they're going to then have the closing party for World Pride, which is called the Rainbow Republic Party. So there's a whole heap of things going on. And in regional New South Wales, we have the Broken Heel Festival. Some people may have heard of it. It sort of celebrates Priscilla, the Queen of the Desert, every year as well, with lots of drag acts and great musical events going on. So it's not just Sydney as well. Very keen to reiterate that, you know, regional New South Wales is open to LGBTQ plus visitors, and there's lots going on across the state.
Brilliant. God, there really is a lot going on. It's fantastic. I love the idea of marching across the bridge. That's incredible. If you need any travel trade journalists to put their hands forward for that, I'm here. Flavio, talk to us about Italy, Italy's Pride events. You know, how big is Pride there? And is it kind of dotted around the country, or does it tend to be centralised in Rome? Or
Oh, sorry, I disappeared earlier for a minute, but I'm back. I'm back now. Oh my gosh, we're compared to Australia, now, we are much quieter. I mean, we have a lot of prize in virtually every city in Italy. Of course, the biggest one are in Rome and Milan, where we have over 1 million people attending every year, and normally in June, July, as everywhere in the world. Worth mentioning, during summer in Rome, in July, August, they opens the gay village, so it's a park in Rome that it's a pizza. There is music, food, and it's everyone. There's not, despite the name, it's everyone goes there. But it was born 20 years ago as a gay village, and now it's growing every year. In Turin, there is in November every year now. It's been nearly 20 years, the LGBT Film Festival, which is always attracts a lot of people. So. Rome, as far as I know, put themselves forward in the city for to host World Pride 2025, which will be a kind of anniversary, because the first World Pride was held in Rome in the year 2000. So probably they want to do some jubilee or anniversary in 2025. They want to repeat this in Rome. So
amazing.
Yeah, so there are a lot of events. I mean, Carnival is not as Mardi Gras as in Australia, of course, because it's winter here. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fun here in Italy as well for them.
And Fabio, is there a calendar available on the kind of
soon? There will be soon. Yeah, there will be. I'll let you know. Yes, watch this space. Yeah.
Okay. Great,
we are working on it. No, but we are working on it really, because we understand that it's not only you who asked before, so we are working on it, and soon we will have it.
Brilliant. All right, do let us know, and that will be
definitely.
Like that. Let's just talk about the safety aspect, because it was rightly flagged in the previous session that actually, it's fantastic to see destinations that are welcoming the LGBT plus community. But we've got to make sure that people feel safe going there. We should acknowledge hey, the UK is not anyone's place to talk right now when we get to politics, but on the political side of things, Becky, if I just touch on the fact that Florida hasn't had the best headlines recently as a state around the gay community. We had the Don't Say Gay bill that came out from Governor Ron DeSantis, and I know we've kind of discussed this before. What would you say, just to reassure agents that are listening today, that want to be able to reassure their LGBT customers that even though Tampa's in Florida, they will be very, very welcomed there? How would you sort of reassure agents watching?
Just to say, please don't think that that's kind of something that is reflected again amongst the kind of Visit Tampa or the Tampa Bay community. I mean, the Tampa is so progressive. It's young. It's dynamic. The work that we do isn't just in tourism and trying to, encourage LGBT plus travelers here. It's about the community as a whole. Everything that we do, the whole destination is so welcoming, so accessible, so inclusive. Even though we have the specific Visit Tampa Gay guide and the Pride video and stuff like that, this is just the destination as a whole. This is the city. This is what you find. You go down 7th Avenue in Ybor City, and that's the world that there is. So yes, the headlines are worrying. I totally understand that, but please be assured, everyone should feel safe there. I think the fact that Tampa Bay did by 73% vote for an openly LGBT plus mayor
Yeah.
really does speak volumes to the
Yeah.
community, you know, to the people that live there. This is a safe destination, and you know, I love the place, and you know, I wouldn't be here talking about it if I didn't wholly believe that. So
Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, having a lesbian mayor is great. You can't kind of have a bigger vocal supporter of the LGBT community than someone that's from the community in a position of power.
Exactly.
Fantastic. And Flavio, again, I'm not saying that the UK doesn't have its issues. I mean, we don't have a prime minister anymore. So just to touch on Italy's situation, because obviously, you know, Italy's just appointed a new prime minister, Giorgia Meloni. I believe I've said that correctly.
Yes.
She has previously come out with lots of not particularly friendly rhetoric towards LGBT people, alongside many other things. What would you say to LGBT travellers that might have seen those headlines and might be slightly concerned? Do you think it was just that? It was just rhetoric, or you know?
Hopefully, no, kind of, yes. I mean, she hasn't been appointed yet. She will be probably next week, so she will start next week. So we are hopeful. I mean, new government. I mean, what she did in her manifesto and was always saying during the campaign, because she was asked, of course, many times this topic and others that were quite controversial, because from some members of the party were controversial statements. But she always said that probably there's not going to be a rush for new legislation in favor, but she will not touch any legislation that has been approved. So there is no step backwards at absolute. So gay marriages, or I'm talking about LGBT, but other minorities as well. Nothing will be touched. So there is no step backwards. She's open. The only thing that's missing is the adoption officially. The judge can grant you. She's open to a discussion. She's not going to rush any legislation in favor at the moment, but she's open. So let's hope that. But again, like Becky said, that doesn't change the culturally and the people around. So at the same time, we had two openly gay governor of region, Sicily and Puglia. So it's a southern Italy. You would think that would never elect an openly gay person, or we have a transgender MP, openly transgender MP. So at the same time, I wouldn't be worried, or I wouldn't feel any less safer now in Italy. Not at all. I mean, it's there are a lot of rhetorics, and we will see what happens in future. But I'm very confident that we're not gonna go back in this any civil rights or others. Yes, we can't see you though.
Sorry, I think there we go. I'm here. No, that's great to hear, and the fact that she's even open to discussions is quite crucial, and actually that's probably hopefully quite reassuring and heartening to those listening. And Siobhan, I appreciate. Hopefully, Australia's in a very different position politically. But just how would you know, how can you can never ensure that someone will have a 100% safe experience. I appreciate that. But are you able to say if local authorities would be supportive? You know, how can you kind of reassure anybody that might just be slightly trepidatious, that they will have a fully safe experience, not just in Sydney, like you said, but, you know, around the wider New South Wales area?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I think it's important just to note that the LGBTQIA plus community is protected from discrimination by law. So, as you say, we like to think that we're open, we're a welcoming destination, and we hope that no one would have any issues when they're travelling to Sydney or New South Wales. But if they did experience anything, the law protects them. So they can absolutely rely on the authorities to be able to support them. Also, yeah, next year marks 5 years of marriage equality in Australia. So everyone from across the community is free to marry whoever they like. So, you know, I think there are things within the legislation of Australia that should hopefully reassure people that when they're visiting, they really are welcome there, and it is a safe space for them to visit.
A big year for you guys next year. For the
lots of anniversaries.
And Siobhan, I didn't flag, but do you guys have a calendar so that anyone watching can kind of look at which dates to make a note of?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you head to sydney.com/UK, you'll find a list of all of our events. So that's obviously not just necessarily to the LGBT community, but there's a really good search function on our website. So if anyone wants to search LGBT, and there's also lots of travel guides on there as well that can give agents ideas on where to visit, where to stay. You know, great ideas for your clients' itineraries. So yeah, encourage you to visit the website for that information.
Brilliant, thank you. As we referenced in the previous discussion, it's always really important to acknowledge the T in LGBT. So let's just talk about transgender travellers. Becky, talk to us about Tampa Bay. Are they welcomed in just the same way? Is there just as much support? Are there any particular trans-relevant events that perhaps Tampa hosts at all? Or
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome in exactly the same way. I think, as you saw in the video, I mean, it's, absolutely trans are part of the community and part of our community, and so very much welcomed. And something I did want to highlight here is is we have the tag approved hotels as well in Tampa. So these are hotels that have signed up to make sure that they are committed to outreach to the LGBTQ plus community and not to discriminate on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. And so that's something else that we've been really working with our partners on in terms of, understanding different guests that turn, whoever turns up, they're welcome there. There's the kind of the training as well as how to refer to people and all of that. So that's something that we've been working with our partners on. And yeah, absolutely. And our events, they, very much open to anybody that wants to get involved. I think you saw in our video that, it's just good times for all, if that's what you want, or, you don't have to do that. And actually, it was interesting in the last discussion when you were talking about families, we're just one of our, LGBT plus ambassadors, Rachel Covello, is actually in Tampa at the moment with an LGBT plus family, going around to different attractions and just ensuring the welcoming and the inclusivity of the different attractions and stuff like that. So yeah, that's something else that we've been working on as well with one of our ambassadors, because we use ambassadors a lot because, as I saw was discussed in the last panel as well, is the fact that if you're not a trans person or you're not an LGBT plus person, it's hard to be in your shoes. So for us, working with the different ambassadors from different communities is really key.
Awesome. And just to ask you about that, so this tag approved hotel, so how does that work? Is it tag themselves, is the company that's verifying these hotels? How does that work, and who sort of authenticates?
I think they sign up to it. So I think we work with them and then they sign up to just kind of ensuring that their staff, that there isn't any discrimination based on that. I should probably know a bit more detail, but yeah, I think that's what they do. That's how, we work with our partners, our hotel partners, on accessibility as well, and, all sorts of diversity and inclusion.
And Canadians access a kind of list of these tag-approved hotels? Is that on the site?
Yes. Yeah, so if you go to visit tampabay.com on where there's the LGBTQ plus area, where it talks about the tag hotels on there as well.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. Flavio, trans travellers just as welcome throughout Italy. They shouldn't be concerned safety-wise at all?
No, safety-wise, no, I don't think, no, there shouldn't be. I mean, quite like Florida, 5 years ago, we founded an association, an Italian tourist board, LGBT Italian tourism, together with some Italian operators and hotels, in order to train and give a certificate to hotel front desk people, right? So in hotels or tour operators, how to deal with LGBT customers. So now to find themselves in an awkward or uncomfortable situation, or how to really avoid certain questions, and they received the certificate. So we're working in the same way. Yeah. So it's been 5-6 years now, and I'll put the link there on the chat. And,
thank you. Oh, there you are, doing two things at once. Brilliant.
So to educate. Sorry.
If agents click on this link, can they see that list of certified hotels? Or
there should be that. Otherwise, I'll find out the list and I'll send it over if it's not there now. But it should be there. Yeah, definitely.
That's very helpful. Thank you. And Siobhan, likewise, does New South Wales have any kind of certification scheme like that, or perhaps Australia more widely?
Yeah, it's a good question. I have to be honest, I don't know if they have a specific scheme, but I know that trans people are obviously welcome as part of the community. As the others have said, they absolutely, wouldn't and shouldn't be discriminated on a visit to Sydney and New South Wales. And we do sort of, we do feature trans people as well in some of the promotional work, particularly that we've done around Sydney World Pride. So one of the things I wanted to highlight today was that we actually had the rainbow dress in Sydney recently, which I don't know if you're familiar with the rainbow dress, but it was created in the Netherlands, and it's a huge dress that's actually made out of all the flags of the countries around the world where it's still illegal to be gay. But it's kind of a hopeful piece of art in that they change it to like a rainbow strip when that country changes its laws. So we kind of, it's designed to kind of create a message and promote LGBT QIA plus rights. But when it arrived in Sydney, we actually had it modelled by a trans actor based in Sydney, Susie Rong. And so we had this fantastic imagery of her on Sydney Harbour, and it was a really spectacular and special moment really for us to welcome that dress to Sydney. So yeah, absolutely kind of can reassure people that, they will be welcome on a visit to our destination. But definitely after hearing about the certifications in Tampa and Italy, I'm going to be checking out what we have available for agents in Sydney and New South Wales or broader Australia, because it sounds like a really great way for people to be able to find the right accommodation for their clients. So yeah.
Great. See, we're always learning. I'm learning. I didn't know about this rainbow dress. I love that. So rainbow dress tour around the world, is that the...
It does. Yeah, it does tour around. So yeah, as I say, it was created in the Netherlands, but it's kind of moves to different cities, to highlight again various different kind of rights issues. And it was in Sydney recently as part of the Sydney World Pride celebrations, but also to highlight again, the continued challenges that some of the community face around the world and sort of across different destinations. So so it's a continued story, a continued piece of art that kind of makes its way around the world.
Amazing. Becky, you need to get that in Tampa Bay.
I wrote it down. I did. I wrote it down. I was like, this sounds good. It should come to Tampa.
Fantastic. And Siobhan, just because you just said about the imagery that you have with trans people as well as kind of more inclusive imagery, can agents access this imagery themselves to kind of use in their marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we have a content library that's open to anyone. So they just it's just content.destinationnsw.com.au, and if people go on there, they can actually there's reams and reams of content that you can use for any kinds of promotional work that you want to do. You have to just register for an account, but then once you've got that, you can download assets as required. But if you search LGBTQI21, that was our most recent LGBTQ shoot. So there's lots of same-sex couples experiencing Sydney and New South Wales. So both male and female couples. So there's lots of different imagery that people can use. So yeah, absolutely, it's available to agents.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. We touched briefly, I think it was Becky actually, on the family markets. And that's something that we kind of referenced in the previous discussion, that actually I think too often people think LGBT travellers and think maybe two young guys that just want to go and party. Whereas actually there's women too. Hi. And also the family market is a big growing area in the LGBT community. How big is it for you guys? Becky, I'm going to come to you, and then Fabio, and then Siobhan, just to talk about what offerings you guys have specifically for the family LGBTQ community.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Florida, Tampa Bay, recognised as a family destination. And as I mentioned, that's why we started working with one of our ambassadors, Rachel Covello. If you honestly go onto her LinkedIn page at the moment, you see all this... all her posts from where she's been. She was at the Florida Aquarium and all over Tampa. And it is, obviously a growing market, and one that we've started to recognise that, LGBT plus families are travelling, and are they getting the welcome, are they as welcome and accessible as it should be? And so that's, something that we've started working with Rachel on. And what's been really good is that everywhere they've gone so far, it has been, what you'd hope it would be. So, continuing along those lines, because obviously Tampa does have a huge range of family-friendly attractions, whether that's, as I say, the Florida Aquarium, the History Centre, Busch Gardens, all sorts of stuff in Tampa Bay. So yeah, we're certainly, thought about that and thought, yeah, we need to make sure that we are, making sure that the experiences that families had would be as we would want them to be. And so, yeah, and as I mentioned with our kind of imagery and stuff like that, making sure that we've got that in our image banks as well. So, yeah, it's something that we've certainly noticed ourselves and started concentrating on.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And hopefully that's helpful for, it was Marie, I think, was asking in the last discussion, just pointing out that actually she kind of wanted to see testimonials from people that had been to these places and said, absolutely, it's actually fine. And it sounds like if she looks at this Rachel Cavello.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it will come out. I think there will be more on our site in due course, but it's actually happening at the moment. But that's like, I'm sure we all feel it, is the fact you need ambassadors. You need people to experience it themselves. It can't just be us saying, oh yeah, it's fine, it's great. It's very welcoming and all that. You actually need people to experience it. And so, that's what we've got going on at the moment. And as we would expect, but very glad it is going really well and they're having a great time.
Awesome. Flavio, what about for Italy? How big is the LGBTQ family market side of things for you?
It's quite big. I mean, quite big. I just was reading some stats before connecting. The single LGBT are only 22% going to Italy. The rest is all with partners or families. So Italy is already seen. It reflects what overall the tourists go to Italy for, and the trends that over not only LGBT. It's mostly our culture, food and wine, and less for beach and fun like single. So it's seen less than that. Although we do have those. So family, the LGBT family are just as welcome as all other families, and they're already coming. So it's more the singles we want to bring over to Italy. Actually, it's the opposite.
You've already got the family market.
You see.
Okay, because I was going to ask if you're using more families in your kind of marketing, but perhaps not. Perhaps you're going the other way because you want more singles.
Exactly. We used what I don't remember. Last year we did a video, LGBT video, and one was two girls getting married, and because that's another big market for us is the weddings.
Yeah.
So again, Italy is the first destination for British people to get married, and that is starting to affect also the LGBT market. More and more LGBT people are getting married in Italy now that it's been 10 years that it's legal marriage and it's recognized here. So it's a big chunk of the market, the weddings.
So British LGBT people can get married, they don't have to kind of do a civil service thing in the UK.
No, it's recognized here. You have to go all the bureaucracy, of course, to recognize it, but it's recognized here. Yeah, you don't have to get married twice. So yeah,
wow.
So it's increasing that. Yeah, especially women couples and a lot in Italy. Yeah.
Especially females. That's interesting.
Yeah, especially female. Yeah.
And are there particular areas of Italy that are more?
Yeah, the usual ones. That's everyone like Lake Como, Tuscany, and Sorrento are always the big ones. Yeah.
Wow, so a good market to target for lesbians. Lesbians kind of looking to get married for our Asian audience. Interesting. And Siobhan, probably a little bit far maybe to head for a destination wedding. I don't know, but how big is the family market for you guys? And is the weds and honeymoons market growing for the LGBT?
Well, I certainly think honeymoons, absolutely. I think maybe some people might choose to get married closer to home, but honeymoon, it's obviously a spectacular place to honeymoon. You've got places like Byron Bay, which are super relaxed and have some beautiful kind of accommodation options as well for honeymooners. It's gorgeous golden sands, surf culture, very laid back, typical Aussie, but again, very welcoming and inclusive. And I think just for families as well, obviously, I think when we talk family for Australia, it's very much sort of that VFR market. So families heading over to see family in Australia, or, visit friends. So I think that's where we do have families traveling that far. And I think it is also worth noting that, a lot of our LGBT events also have family events as part of the program. So like Mardi Gras always features some family friendly events. So it's not just all wild parties and, crazy late nights. And Sydney World Pride as well, the opening concert on the 24th of February is actually taking place from about 3:00 in the afternoon. And it's a kind of bring your own picnic. You can surround yourself with family and friends. So it really is, is an event designed to welcome everyone as part of that community and for their families to be able to join them. It's not just exclusive, to adults, and it's not just all about wild parties. So, so there's definitely a family element, I think, to what the destination can offer.
Yeah, that's a really important aspect then. So it's for the agents listening, it's not just about targeting those young kind of single people. These are, these events in the calendar are great for everyone in the family.
Yeah, anyone that wants to celebrate, their LGBTQIA plus, heritage, their association with that community, it should be for everyone and their families involved. So, they're absolutely welcome as part of those events.
Brilliant. Becky, having a Reds and Hands for you guys, again, I would say maybe slightly too far for a destination wedding, maybe not, but certainly a great honeymoon option, I guess, for the LGBT.
Yeah, I must admit, I don't know specifically for the LGBT plus markets in terms of weddings and honeymoons, but absolutely the honeymoon side, obviously, Florida is a, great destination and, we've got a lot to offer. So I think that's something again, it's another learning from one of these. So kind of have a look into that a bit more and see what that's like.
Yeah, I feel like that blue sky behind you is particularly rubbing it in today because it's just been chucking it down with me. Definitely. So, and Patrick,
don't forget I'm actually only in Surrey, so it's very grey and dark here. But let's pretend I'm in Tampa and this is my background.
I know all of you have these beautiful holiday destinations. Oh.
We kid ourselves every day that we're actually there.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see our time is going to be drawing to a close, but so really lastly, just some final tips from all of you about anything you might want to pass on to our agent audience. Where should they start if they really want to just start beginning targeting to the LGBT plus community? Where would your guys' advice be to start, in terms of having those conversations? Do you think they should reach out to local pride groups? Are there kind of the training elements that perhaps each of you offer in your travel agent portals? Any sort of final tips and advice? Flavio, I'm going to come to you, and then Becky, and then Siobhan.
Well, definitely get in touch with some Italian DMCs and tour operators we work with. So, I mean, they are mostly important in Italy, so they can help. If you don't know Italy from an LGBT point of view, they can help a lot to get to know Italy, which are the best places to go to, and for which market, I mean, which age or is the best in Italy. So definitely through us and through some DMCs that can suggest in Italy. That's
brilliant.
Now we are having it next week. I'm going to Milan for the IGLTA. Will be Milan, and then hopefully that's another big important step that we made to bring it to Italy, and then to get Italy know much better to a global audience there in Milan.
And Flavio, these Italian DMCs that you referenced, how can agents find those? Are they again on the website link that you shared?
No. Unfortunately, we no. Watch this space soon again. But I'll make a list, and if you ask me or anyone viewing now the webinar, if they can contact me, I can of course reply them with all the lists and stuff.
Okay, great. If we share your email, then
yeah, of course you can. Yeah, you can share mine.
Great. Sarah, if you wouldn't mind sharing, that would be fantastic. Becky, what are your top tips? Where should agents start? Where should they begin if they want to go and start targeting the LGBT plus community?
Well, I think this is kind of where the whole conversations come in, doesn't it? So I do think, just feeling comfortable. I know sometimes you can feel like I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to refer, pronouns, and is it all a minefield? And so I, certainly, I think starting having conversations, like you say, with local groups, maybe talking to pride organisers near you, just getting some of the great tour operators that were in the panel before, having those conversations and is a great way to start feeling like, okay, how do I, reach out to different communities? And then, from a Visit Tampa Bay perspective, we do have all the information on the website, visitTampaBay.com, but always feel free to reach out to me or to any member of the team and have the conversation, because as I say, it is part of what we do all the time, but it is an ongoing thing. It is, we want to be inclusive, we want to be consistent, but we always want to learn and to have conversations and to talk about what we could be doing, how we could improve, how we can work together. So for me, it is all about having the conversations and really kind of diving into it and getting as much, out of it as you can.
Brilliant. And as Sarah has reminded, we've got lots of details around Tampa Bay in the partner room as well. And Becky, are your contact details on there if anybody wants to get in touch with you? They are.
And please do. Honestly, I love talking about Tampa. I love talking about diversity and inclusion. And so, I'll have conversations till the cows come home. So please do.
Brilliant. We've already got a request from Nikki Yates. She'd like a copy of your latest Tampa Gay, if possible, and she's popped her address there.
Yeah,
If you
great.
can. Fantastic. And Siobhan, your sort of final thoughts and top tips for our agent audience and where they should start. How do they go out and start marketing for LGBT plus audience?
Yeah, well, I think I mentioned our website as well, so sydney.com/UK. As I say, there are some LGBT plus guides on there. So just as a starting point, you can get an idea of where in Sydney is a great spot to start for some of your clients. Places like Darlinghurst, which incorporates Oxford Street, which is, you know, a real hive of LGBT sort of community and culture, with like the Darlinghurst bookstore on there. And you can kind of get top tips about the best bars, the best experiences. There's sort of self-guided and guided walks that people can do around Oxford Street to kind of follow in the footsteps of Pride activists in the region as well. But aside from that, I would also just like to, I talked a lot about Sydney World Pride, and we are working with Premier Holidays at the moment to offer packages to agents who want to package that up for their clients. So if you do check out Premier Holidays, they've also developed some marketing materials for those that might want to sell the event. The tickets are only available until the 30th of November, so it's a hot ticket and get in quick, because a lot of the tickets are actually sold out to the general public as well. So you guys are in a great position in that you can actually get access to tickets for your clients because they're still available to package as part of a travel, as part of a holiday. So yeah, check out Premier Holidays for some additional marketing materials as well if you like those.
Brilliant, thank you. And we've had a question about WTM. Are all of you guys going to be at WTM? Yes.
Yeah.
Great. So hopefully anyone listening that is heading to WTM can hopefully catch up with all three of you at your stands on them, but on both on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we don't have a stand to say, but I'm more than happy to meet with people if you're there. Just drop me an email. So I'm happy for my email address to be shared as well. And likewise for any other kind of requests or anything, I'm more than happy for people to get in touch.
Brilliant. All right. Thank you so much. Sarah, would you mind just sharing Siobhan's email as well? That would be fantastic.
Mine would be good.
And we've got, and could you share Becky's too? Then we can connect everybody. Brilliant. Thank you so much to all three of you. I think that's been absolutely insightful. A really, really great panel. Thank you so much. And a huge thank you again to Visit Tampa Bay for all your support this afternoon. And a reminder, do check out the marketing materials that are going to be in the lobby room, because that's going to be all those fantastic assets and imagery that everybody really, really, really needs just to sort of get the message out there. Thank you so much. That is all we have time for today. Thank you again to all of our fantastic panelists for all of your time, and for everybody for joining us this afternoon and tearing yourself away from what's going on in number 10 Downing Street. Very much appreciate you all being here. I really hope that you found it informative and insightful, and I hope that you now feel confident to sell and market your travel products to the LGBT plus community. Thank you again to our headline partner, Visit Tampa Bay, for all of your support. A reminder that we're hosting Winter Travel Pride in association with the Malta Tourism Authority on the 30th of November. It's entirely free to attend. It's in London, central London, and I can confirm it will have some brilliant entertainment.